So this is an interactive dashboard built using Google Data Studio. So Google Data Studio is actually a dashboarding tool. So if you compare it with other similar products, you can compare it with, let's say, Tableau or Power BI. Now, of course, in terms of the features and functionality, it's a little bit different. Tableau and Power BI, they are more of a desktop application, but Google Data Studio is a pure cloud solution. But in terms of functionality wise, I think it's pretty sufficient for those of you who want to get started, especially if you want to build a self-serve or interactive dashboard that you can just link your data set from different data sources and present it to your boss or stakeholders or even your clients in a meeting. Yeah. So first thing first, just click on the blank report. First thing that we need to do is asking us to connect to our data set. So you can either connect it to CSV file. So I'm going to use the HR data set, which we have uploaded before. This is one of the tools or part of our data science 360 and also part of our data science uncut bootcamp content. You can follow through the exercise by going to the github.com and download the data set, and let's do it together. Okay, we're going to add some visualization informations that help us to make our dashboard more interactive. This is the standard controls that they give us. So it's just a table. We can remove this one first. We want to add a chart. So there are different types of charts that you can add here. First thing that we do is we're going to add a scorecard. Let me zoom in a little bit. So there are two types of scorecard. One is scorecard with numbers. The other one is scorecard with compact numbers. So to begin with, we can just add a scorecard here. So it straight away automatically help you to get the record count. So record count means it's shown here. Record count, using it as a metric. So for our scorecard, and if you want to make any changes, you can double click it. You can choose other columns that you want, or you can edit the aggregation here. Instead of using auto, you can try other sort of aggregation as well. But I'm not going to call it record count. I'm going to call it total employees. You can take a quick look at the data set, which is pretty straightforward, and you can see those fields here. Work accident, satisfaction level, salary, promotion, number of projects, their names, their evaluation score, how many years that they have served in the company, and also their average monthly working hours. So this is first one. Usually in a HR exercise, right, what we are going to do is we are going to check the attrition rate. We want to actually keep track on how many people have resigned from the company and how many employees are from different departments, etc. So the next thing that we are going to do is we're going to visualize, or we're going to create a scorecard to keep track of how many people have actually resigned. So we are going to use the sum function to calculate the left. So we can just drag and drop left here. You can see that straight away, it helps us to sum left column and give it a name called left. Yeah, we're going to change it and call it total resign. So 3,572 employees have left. And next thing is, we already know that total employees is 15,000 and also total resign is 3,572. So next thing, maybe you can think from your boss, your stakeholders perspective, or your HR manager perspective, what they would like to know, what they want to see. So maybe they want to know what is the percentage of people who have resigned, right? They call it attrition rate in HR practice. We can do it by using the left column again. And this time around, instead of using sum, right, instead of calculate the total number of people who have left, we can try to use average. And this shows us that the attrition rate is 0.24. Okay, just click on the AVG and the type here, right, is shown number. So instead of showing number, we want to show the percent, and you will automatically change to 23.81%. And the next thing that we want to know is the work accident. So how many percent of our staff or employees have met work accident? Same thing, we use the average and then numeric percent, 14.46%. We should change the title as well. Attrition rate. And we also want to know the average working hours of our employees. We can go to the fields column and look for average monthly hours. And instead of using sum, we're going to use average as well. I'll leave it to you to fix the aesthetic of the labels and stuff. And last but not least, we want to know how long everybody worked in the company. So we're going to say experience in company. And average. Right, so average people work for 3.5 years in the company. So this is a very basic header or very basic scorecard that gives your audience summary of those statistics or descriptive statistics in our company at one glance. Okay, so this is the first step. The next step that we are going to do is we're going to look at the distribution of employees in the company. So the total number of employees, the number of staff members. So we're going to go to the add chart, search for pie chart. Personally, I'm not a big fan of pie chart. You know why, and I'll show you what are the rest of your options there. But I'm just going to show you pie chart because it's the first thing that comes to people's mind anyway, and it's very straightforward. So it shows us their names automatically. So we're not going to look at their names, of course. We're not interested at all because most people's names are unique. So what we are going to do is we're going to change the dimension. Okay, so go to dimensions, change it from names. And remember what I've mentioned earlier, we want to look at their departments. So we can look at row, look at the row where everybody came from, and it shows you the percentage. So sales has the highest number of staff member, and then 18.1 for technical. If you think that the color is hard to understand, right, or hard to read, there are different layouts and different themes that you can choose from. So let's say I usually pick this one. It's pretty cool, or you can choose this one. This one. There are many different types of themes that you can choose from, and you can change the style, dimensions, everything that you want to here. Makes it easier. And the problem with pie chart is that it forces us to use too many different colors. So one good alternative to do the same thing is, instead of using pie chart, you can use bar chart instead. This will make it much easier for you to understand the chart, the comparison. So you can, at one glance, you can look at which department has the most employee, which department has the least, and you can look at the comparisons of the size among different departments. But for the sake of variety, of course, I will show you how to do a pie chart. In reality, whether is it during our course, let's say actual client presentation, right? Usually I wouldn't recommend using pie chart at all. Yeah. If you have too many categories, it will give you a chart like this. Yeah. It looks very amateur. If you have 2 to 3 categories, right, and you have some corporate color to use, then that's fine. Yeah. And I think there's more than 4 categories, you will get some funny pie chart like this. So the next thing that we want to know is, not only we want to know how many employees are there in each department, we also want to know how many of them actually stay, how many of them actually left our company, right? The best chart to use for this use case scenario will be a stack chart, a stack column chart. And obviously this is not what we want, right? We want to see, based on the departments, the number of employees and how many of them stay and how many of them left. So we're going to change the dimension again, change it from names to row. So the breakdown dimension is what you are going to visualize is, because it has already shown you what are the departments here, right? So we're going to change the breakdown dimension from row to left. And if you look at the columns here, right, the numbers looks a bit weird. Your y-axis numbers looks a bit weird, like 1 million. So this is definitely not right. So we go back and check our chart, and we realize that, because the metric is wrong. So we can switch it to number of employees, record count. Okay, so this one makes more sense. So it makes it easier to understand. Yeah. So this will show you how many employees are there in each department, and also how many % of them actually left the company. 1 means left and 0 means they stay. If you click view, then you can visualize it and you can run the dashboard straight away. Yeah, you can share this dashboard with anybody. Yeah. Alright, let's go back to edit mode. So for the rest of the dashboard, is up to you to see what you want to put. But usually we will put something that the stakeholders are interested in, and also there's some story to tell. Now remember, an interactive dashboard is something that you can click, you can explore, and you can use it to help your audience to answer the questions that the business question that they're looking for an answer. So what we can do next is we can also look at the number of projects, or the effects of number of projects versus the attrition. So whether number of projects actually cause people to resign or not. Just use add a chart, then stack column chart. Okay, so same thing, we're going to switch it to row, and the breakdown dimension is left. So for row, we're not going to use row, we're going to use number of projects. If you look at the number of projects, right, now it's not showing accordingly because it's sorted by the number of employees there. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the sort based on the number of projects. So click on sort and change to number of projects. So it will give us a much clearer view. So right now, when you see this, right, if you assign your employees with 2 projects, a high chance that they will leave the company because they feel underperformed. And if you assign them with 3-4 projects, is the sweet spot. Yeah, 3-4-5 projects is still kind of okay. But if you assign them more than 6 projects, they will feel a little bit overwhelmed, overloaded. People start to leave. And lastly, if you assign them with 7 projects, they feel overworked and they'll just leave the company straight away. Yeah, 100% of them left. So this is how to visualize number of projects versus attrition. And of course, we want to look at whether the salary affect their morale or not, affect their attrition rate or not. If you're lazy, you can just copy paste. Yeah, you just copy and then paste it, because you know that the configuration is exactly the same, except you're using a different dimension. So you can change it from number of projects to salary. All right, and then lastly, you can do the same by changing it to work accident. As simple as that. And if you want to make it a little bit prettier, you can add graphics, you can add your company logos, and you can add some text. For example, HR Analytics Dashboard for Giant Cerebrium Berhad. Okay, for example. There are many different cool fonts that you can choose from. Okay, so do some auto layout and make it looks neater. And once you're ready, just click view and then you can visualize it. This is an interactive dashboard, and you can also export individual chart to CSV file or the values to Google Sheet. Okay, so this is an interactive dashboard built using Google Data Studio. Now do let me know if you have any questions or any in the comment section, yeah, or if you would like to know more about the Google Data Studio. You can also try it on other visualization tool, or what they call BI tool, business intelligence tools, such as Tableau or Power BI. They're pretty similar in that aspect. And also there are other fancy type of charts that you can try out, like if you're showing the number of cases of COVID, or you want to show where the food banks are, you can also use Google Maps to build a chart like this. And if you are showing 2 correlations, continuous variables, you can also use scatter plot, or what we call the bubble chart, and bullet charts, pivot table. There are very many interesting ways to display your data, so get creative. What I'm showing you here is how to use Google Data Studio to build a very simple dashboards to get things started. Okay, as I mentioned earlier, this is part of our curriculum in Data Science Uncut Bootcamp. So we're closing our registration in 3 days time. So today is the last day for early bird. If you want to know more about the bootcamp, you can head over to DS Uncut Bootcamp. Even if you are not planning to join a course, right, I'll strongly recommend you to take a look at the bootcamp so that you understand what are the requirements, how do I structure the program so that you can build 4 different projects in 30 days time. It's a very interesting, very hands-on, mentor guided, and also I would say a program that's different from the usual course that you have seen out there. So take a look, yeah, especially pay attention to the content itself and the roadmap to become a data scientist. I'm sure that you will learn a lot of things just by looking at the landing page itself as well. All right, thank you very much. I'll see you next time.